Hi Nisha. This is your the video on the in the camp of the Gypsies, and I would like to have one more additional work for you to do before you play alongside practicing in the camp of the Gypsies. Which is to do the scales on the Hanon. We haven't been. I don't know when the last time we had the scales. Since in the camp of the Gypsies is in A minor, I would like you to play the A minor harmonic scale, which is on Hanon book page 62. It's number 39, and it's on the very first page because the A minor is the relative minor of the C major. Every major key has its relative minor, because just by shifting a minor third down from that's a minor third. Major third is that. That is the A minor. From C, you go down a minor third, you go to A, and then you just play A, the same key signature as a C major. You wind up playing a natural minor scale. So no, all white keys. And when you raise the 7th degree to a G sharp, and by playing the G sharp, it becomes a leading tone to the A. So without the G sharp, it doesn't feel like it leads into the A very well. So harmonic minor lifts it up half a step. So the scale in the Hanon book, as you know, everything has four octaves. So you start all the way down here. I wonder if you could see. Not quite. Well, you get the idea. So that's where you begin. Chord. So that's where you get the G sharp and no other sharp besides the G sharp. And let's leave it at that for this for a little while. You only need to practice the harmonic minor scale. There is, below it a melodic minor scale, but it's a little bit trickier to learn. So let's just start with the harmonic. So you're going to probably find that, playing the G sharp is a little bit tricky because E, F, and then from there to the G sharp that's actually a little far away. So do get used to that. Left hand, it's easier because you're playing with a 2. So it's easier to open up the space between the finger 2 and 3. See, that's always, you can open it much wider. But between the 3 and 4, it's not as easy. So now with these kind of things where you have to, stretch more than normal, because that's your normal interval if you're playing the 3-4. But in this case, you have to stretch wider than normal. So to get that, you want to make sure that your hands are nice and flexible, stretch them out, and then, I actually saw a Japanese piano teacher do a video where she says, get your hand nice and warm with warm water, or, soak it in warm water, make sure it's nice and warm, and then you just kind of practice stretching in between the fingers like that. And you want to do when your fingers are warm, otherwise you might injure yourself. So, by doing that, you have a better reach overall. Good flexible hands help you reach the notes more, accurately. And it makes piano playing a lot easier when your fingers are nice and flexible. Okay, so now off to the Gypsies, in the camp of Gypsies. You have been playing one hand at a time. That's very good. Right hand is good. Left hand is generally good. I think I found one constant error though, which is at measure 15, 16, at measure 17, 15, 16, 17. At measure 17, it's the pinky has to go down to G. So it's a G. So if you look at the bottom, the lower notes of the pair, the eighth note pair, the first one is a G, C, E, A. So G, C, E, A. So remember that you have been playing as an A. So, but there, if you play an A, that's a different chord. That's a D minor, but it's actually a G dominant 7. So the chord progression in that particular measure 17 is it's a G7 to C major chord. And then measure 18 is E7 to A minor. So because of that, you break it up. And then the rest is just stepwise. So make sure you get the G on measure 17. And the same thing happens on page 3 at measure 54. That's the same thing at measure 54. So that's one chord that you have to play accurately. It goes to the G. So now I think you are ready to, and one more thing I noticed with the left hand. After you have, and then tempo, you were way ahead of your metronome. I don't think you were paying attention much to the metronome when at recap at measure 42. It's back to the original tempo, which is, you were playing more like. So be very aware of what the beat, how the beat is proceeding. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on. Yeah, so that's the one part where you would definitely have to pay better attention to what the metronome is clicking. And if you can't hear it too well, you definitely have to increase the volume of your metronome somehow, or have some light flash so that you can visually get that cue as well. So I guess that's it for the left hand. Now let's go back to let's really start working, putting the both hands together. I have a feeling that you probably do fine, like the measure 5 through 14, or maybe 14, 15, 16. Nonetheless, yeah, I will just start at measure 5. And end there. And make sure you get that good. I remember a few weeks ago, the issue was that again at measure 17, where you have to remember to go to the G. And you just need to practice that. Measure 17 through measure 20. the other one, the other place, the place, you know, that you do want, you know, want to make sure that you get it correctly is from measure 7, 8, 9. Measure 9 to 12. I'll do just 9 to 12. That one. One more time. Okay, and then the other part was. Okay, so those little those are the four measure phrases. I would definitely pull it out and practice individually until you really nail it every single time, even if you played it in the context of the whole entire section. Okay, now moving on to the next part. I have a feeling that it was okay. I think the last time I heard you play both hands, I think oh, did I? Well, with this one, you just have to know when the left hand starts changing, and changes here, there, and keep on going, and change, and change. Keep on. Big change. And so this part is easy enough. That's all okay. I think what the part that gets a little bit tricky is those four measures. That's measure 8, 9, 30 to 1, 2, 33. 30 to 33. As you can see, there's already that circle that was written, I think, when my sister was taking lessons. I actually never learned this one. I believe it's my sister when she was taking lessons at elementary school. So yeah, so do work on that measures 30 through 33, and of course the earlier part. So those are all in 4-measure groups. Make sure that you've got those 4-measure groups. Of course, you'd eventually be able to, have to be able to play all the way through in the context of the whole entire, music. But it's good to break it up into those neat 4-measure phrases. And the part where the right and the left hand, it says marcato, and then you have both hands playing those 16th notes. That accent is actually very effective. It makes it a very percussive sort of sound. So do practice so that you can line up the good accent right hand and left hand pinky. And then the measures 42 to the end, you don't really have to play that because that's really the same as what was, in the beginning on the first page. You can just, when you play, just pause there, so that you allow yourself more time to practice on those parts that don't repeat nearly as much, all those, they don't repeat. The part that repeats a lot is this. I think you play 1, and then even there's a little variation, right? Those are essentially the same thing. It's just a small variation, a little bit different the second time you play. So those are I will write down a separate note so that you know exactly which 4 measures you have to pull out and practice individually. And then besides that, I think you do want to start looking at the next part. The next part starting on the 3rd page at measure 58. And there you really want to start with, you have to master the right hand. So the measure 58, you know, the part where it's in the F major. That part. So as you can see, the right hand is always playing either 2 or 3 notes at the same time. You want to read them very carefully so that you get them correctly. I'll play just the right hand all the way through the measure 58 to 73 with a pickup. So when you play that part, besides getting the notes correctly, pay attention to where the staccato is and isn't. So just like the first 4 measures of it, there's staccato here, no staccato next, and staccato. So there's, you know, there's that rhythm, which sounds almost Hungarian. A lot of gypsy music is associated with Hungarian traditional or folk music is associated with gypsy tunes. So I think, you know, Brahms' Hungarian dances often use this very similar rhythm pattern, and putting an emphasis, sort of the syncopated rhythm. So, oh good, it's still recording. So I'll go back, make sure you get the accent, and the accent is on the long notes. And if it helps, you might want to circle the quarter notes without the staccato at measure 58. You can circle the beat 2, and then at measure 59, you can circle the quarter note, the middle one. That's the second half of the first beat. It might give you a little bit of reminder that those are the notes where you have to make sure you hold long and you put emphasis, like put rhythm emphasis on. Same thing with the measure 62, circle the second beat, and 63, circle the middle note. And there's another one at measure 3, 4, 5, 6, 66 and 67, circle the quarter notes. And then at 69 and 70 and 71, and there's a skip 72 and 73, you do have those quarter notes. Those are, that's where you want to give it that emphasis, that, you know, strong weight into those notes. And then the left hand, make sure you practice your right hand first. If you feel like you got your right hand, make sure you get the fingering correct as well. This edition particularly has a lot of, you know, fingering marks on it. They're actually quite good. I find that they make it easier to play a lot of these passages. So follow those fingering marks. And after that, you can go and practice the left hand. And this one, actually, the left hand it's very similar to the hard part of the beginning, you know. It moves around quite a bit, but at least it only moves once every measure. You know, the first at measure 58, 56, 8, 9, 10. At measure 60, your left hand is twice, and then next is, and then next one is, next one, the next one, the next one. Okay, and then I'm going to jump over to measure 68, 68 left hand, and 69. And measure 70, there are circles on it because, you know, it appears my sister also had a problem. I could imagine this is going to be harder for anybody. That's a bit tricky. So those are two different chords. So make sure you get the A natural the first time and B natural and A flat. And then the measure after, that's a 71, 72, and 73. So those are all, you know, a lot of, you know, complicated left-hand chord progressions. And, you know, of course, I mean, this is way, way, way far ahead of the John Thompson second grade book that you've been playing on. This is a lot closer to something that's at the beginning of the third grade book. And it's also long. So, you know, that's why, you know, we're breaking it up and taking a long time, you know, learning this music. So if you can get to the end of page 3, that'll be great. And like I said, you don't need to practice measure 42 to 57 because, again, that's the same as the first page. You just need to do, you know, parts of it. And when you record, you don't have to play the whole entire thing. You can just say, okay, I'm going to play from here to here. And you know, that's all you need to record. And then you can pause there and you can say, okay, I'm going to record for, and next I will go to this part, you know, measure so and so. And then after that, you say, so I guess what I would like you to do is play both hands, all of the first page, maybe into the first ending. And you don't have to repeat. So start at the top, go to measure 20, and you can stop the recording right there. And then the next recording, I would like you to take it from the pickup to measure 22, and then play up until the first beat of 42, measure 42. Those will probably be best. And then if you could also record just the right hand from measure 58 to 73, that'll be sufficient, I think. So good luck and keep on working. Bye.